invigorating that resource of people that are willing to help solve problems for organizations and municipalities and the like. I mean, think about in the old days of Aliquippa, anything that broke in Aliquippa, what happened? They called the mill, and the mill sent tons of people there to do it. Now, we don't have thousands of people employed at one facility anymore, but Shell I see these guys around all the time. I see what they're doing. Immersing themselves in the community. I see what they're doing, helping nonprofits. I saw what they did. I was there at M7 when they gave 800 kids to 1,000 kids backpacks, shoes, clothing, all that stuff, working and collaborating with a bunch of nonprofits. So I see a re-energizing of that community engagement, and that's part of being a good corporate neighbor. So I see them fulfilling those expectations. They're meeting the jobs expectations that they committed to. I think some of those are underrepresented because I think there's a lot of indirect jobs that have been created as a result of that. And I stand by the article. We could not have gotten through the pandemic being isolated like we were if they weren't continuing to bring thousands of constructors working and buying sandwiches and clothing and different things.
And you still see them out at our local restaurants now, the people that
all
work
the time.
there
You'll see those red jumpsuits downtown Beaver at the mall and everything else. So they're meeting my expectations, but I didn't have false expectations. I know I was on downtown Consoling at the time, and everybody that had an empty storefront in one of our riverfront towns thought a money tree was going to shake in front of the place, and all of a sudden their properties were going to be worth some outrageous amount.
But they have invested financially, though. They have invested financially in communities. I mean, CCBC, they that
clearly
new place there at CCBC, and they've invested a lot financially as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And a lot of different nonprofits. I mean, they just had a golf tournament and raised over $100,000 and split it up 4 ways before 4 different nonprofits. I don't remember all of them. I know one of them was Family Matters Food Pantry. Another one was the Men's Shelter. Another one was the Women's Center. I forget the fourth one, but I think it might have been the Hands folks, the ones that helped with that M7 event, Shell event. But,
I know who you're talking about,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, they are engaged. They are doing a lot in the community. They've done a lot of things. But I think people's expectations were way, way overboard. I never bought into some of those projections on hundreds of thousands of jobs and stuff. I mean, it was going to be slow.
Well, I think people thought that when they came in, the cracker plant was done, that whole corridor right there where it's at would just explode with businesses. Yeah. No, we've seen some different businesses come to light, but you were talking about, in this letter, you started talking about where this kind of all came to light to you when you were speaking in June about the video. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I had the honor of speaking to the 7th graduating class of the Leadership Development program that the Chamber started back in my last year at the Chamber. It's a great program. 15 to 20 people go through this 10-month program, learn about themselves, learn leadership skills and stuff. So I was just recounting some things that were important to me as a leader and giving them a message of wanting to make sure they were engaged into the community. Now that they've got these skills and they've got these things, we're always looking for future nonprofit board members and other leaders and entrepreneurs and the like. And I thought back to this video that I collaborated with Rhino Productions. Tab McElwilkie wrote a tremendous script. And it was talked about we're proud of our past, we're tireless in our present, and we're confident in the future. And I started to look at all those things that have happened since Shell announced and was built, despite the setbacks of the pandemic and despite the inflation and despite the issues that occurred, post that set us back a little bit. We have made tremendous progress. And I think sometimes you're so close to something you can't see what's happening around you. So I expressed those things to them, and I said, "Hey, won't you join us?" It's the tagline at the end of that video. And I said, "Please join us." And that's the tagline I want to have in this article. I'm willing to work with anybody that wants to make Beaver County better. I don't care what it is. If you're here to make the quality of life better in Beaver County, I will work with you because I feel it's a privilege to live in this county. I chose Beaver County 25 years ago. I wasn't born and raised here. I chose Beaver County. My family's here now, my whole family, and I want to leave it in the best shape possible when I'm done.
All right, if you do have any questions for Commissioner Jack Manning or any comments about what we're talking about this morning, if you have any other comments about county stuff, you can call on Thursday and talk about that. But the phone lines are open at 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Local programming controlled by local people. It's the Beaver, 95.7 FM and 1460 AM WMBA. Coming to you live from the St. Barnabas Control Studio in Brighton Township.
Make Jackson's Restaurant and Bar in Center Township your fun spot and dining destination this fall. Open daily, Jackson's entrees include grilled salmon, sirloin, honey glazed chicken, and pork wrapped tenderloin. The brunch buffet each Sunday from 10 to 2 has hot breakfast items, omelets, pastries, and chef-inspired entrees. Sundays also offer a build-your-own Bloody Mary bar and $5 mimosas. Thursday nights bring live music to Jackson's, located adjacent to Hilton Garden Inn near the Beaver Valley Mall. For a full menu and schedule, visit jacksonsbeavervalley.com.
Have you ever found something interesting that makes you go, oh? Then tune in every other Tuesday from 5 to 5:30 p.m. on Beaver County Radio for the Oh Show with Orlana Dawkins Jewelry. Orlana relates her views about informing, inspiring, and entertaining headlines that makes the world go round in interviews with local influencers that make you go, oh. The episode will be on Beaver County Radio Facebook and YouTube pages, so make sure to join the Oh Show with Orlana Dawkins Jewelry every other Tuesday from 5 to 5:30 right here on 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP.
It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers at Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca. Dial 724-774-3200 and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors, LiftMaster garage door openers, and over 50 years experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Electric Garage Door Sales. Give them a call at 724-774-3200 or find them online at electricgaragedoorsales.com.
You're driving in the fast lane
with Frank Sparks on 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP. You can also stream live on beavercountyradio.com.
Back here on Driving in the Fast Lane on a Monday morning. It is currently sitting at 66 degrees in Beaver County on this September the 29th of 2025. Visiting this morning in hour number one with Beaver County Commissioner Jack Manning. And we're talking about an op-ed that he wrote talking about the future of Beaver County. Have you noticed, and you've been here for 25 years, so have you noticed more because previously when it came to maybe going out to dinner, going shopping, doing those things, it's like Beaver County got split. They either went to Boardman, they either went to Robinson, or they either went to Cranberry.
No, yeah.
So has that seems like the scale's tipping a little bit to you at this point?
Well, I think it is a little bit, but that's still, I think, for a lot of folks, that's still the three directions that they go into. But I will tell you, and I'm heavily invested with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in our river towns. Our river towns have come back tremendously, and I think all of those shopping areas. I mean, even Cranberry, Robinson, and Boardman have been affected by Amazon, the internet, and those sales. Big box stores have all been hit by that. But what I have seen is a resurgence in people wanting personal care or going to restaurants in their downtown and the vibrancy of the downtowns. Since 2022, we have had 113 new businesses start up in our 9 core riverfront towns, the ones that I used to consult in. Now, Beaver's always been unique. Anytime there's a vacancy, somebody leaves in Beaver, somebody's ready to jump in there and do that. Especially in Ambridge and Beaver Falls and New Brighton, we're starting to see, I think, a real resurgence of our downtowns. And a lot of that's due to the entrepreneurship and people wanting that personal experience and shopping locally versus getting in the car and going to the malls or shopping online. So I'm seeing a resurgence. Now, in that same period of time, 109 businesses have been lost. We're net 4.
Right.
But it just shows you how tough that business is in any climate, and especially coming out of the pandemic with inflation, with labor issues, wage inflation that's happening, and just the lack of people to fill some of those jobs. We're virtually at full employment when it comes to trying to fill those jobs here at Beaver County.
Of recent, probably Ambridge is probably the one that has really come to the forefront, and I attribute a lot of that to Mario Leone and what he's doing down there.
The stage was set even before Mario came there. Joe Coward did a good job.
Right.
We invested in a streetscape there in 4 through 800 block, which aesthetically made it more pleasing. And then Mario's been able to come in with some additional grants and business development and attracting the right folks to fill that void. They have a very vibrant, very eclectic mix there. Getting those 2 brew pubs are big. Any downtown really needs an anchor restaurant to kind of build around, and they've done a great job there. Yeah.
So moving forward, you've been a big part of something that's been huge in Beaver County because we've had a problem with it for years and years and years. And in fact, Western Beaver was one of the big areas that it was at, and we were actually recently able to do a football game from out there because we had broadband reception out there.
Yeah.
So that's been a big thing. Do you think that's attributed to a lot of growth and things in the county since we do have this broadband commitment?
Well, I think it's been important to the development of the growth in Beaver County for sure. And we started even before the pandemic, and I give our planning and redevelopment folks and Lance Grable, who was there at the time, and Dan Dissler and the different people, and Michael Baker, International Engineering, for really spearheading in that. I mean, we won a national award on that. But it's also now given us prominence with these AI data centers and stuff coming here, and with other small businesses understand the connectivity that we have through Beaver County. So to me, it's a strategic advantage. I think a lot of what people expected in our growth has been a delayed reaction, slowed by the pandemic, slowed by inflation, slowed by wage inflation and different issues. But it's now starting to take off. There's more interest up and down the Ohio River than I've seen since before 2015. It's just tremendous now. The Styropec site, which just closed, will probably be bought by the end of the year or early first quarter. People are seeing an interest there. So a lot of what people's expectations were for businesses are starting to come to fruition. And the other thing was that, just like with those small businesses, 113 new ones, 109 left. But we've been able to fill a lot of those vacancies and still move forward, like in Ambridge, like in Beaver Falls, like in Monaca and New Brighton and others. And, we've had several setbacks. Shell comes, but the Bruce Mansfield site closes. That was 600 jobs. It's tough in this market to replace any place that has 600 jobs. But now we have the Frontier Group coming in, going to start that back up. There's a couple hundred jobs there. Data center comes with it, a couple more hundred here. I mean, the days of the 1,000+ facilities is over. That's just not the way any company works right now, even the automotive companies.
Right. We've even had somebody come in and invest in Shippingport as well because there was talks of that shutting down.
Yeah. So we have Vistra come in, a great new owner, getting engaged community, also bringing that human resource back in the community. I'm very proud of what they've done. You've got Tenaris doing the same thing, the work that Tenaris has done. Tenaris has spent $150 million trying to renovate that Koppel plant and the Ambridge facility as well. So there's a lot of investment that's pouring in. It goes under the radar. People don't appreciate it, I think, how much is happening in our downtowns, how much is happening along the riverfronts, and all these good businesses that are coming in with family-sustaining wages. People talk about the gross domestic product. Well, we have a 40% ALICE rate. That's based on spending and purchases. We have an aging demographic, a lot of them on fixed Social Security income or pensions. We're not Cranberry, we're not Butler, we're not South Point, we're not South Fayette, we're not Washington County, we're Beaver County, but we're making tremendous progress. And I don't think people are giving us credit. And I just hate when people try and smear or disparage what we're doing here. And especially when it's people from outside the county.
Right.
That are trying to make some ideological point rather than looking at the reality of how we feel about the quality of life that we have and enjoy here in Beaver County.
So how do we continue to not only encourage people that grew up here in Beaver County to stay, but also encourage a younger demographic maybe to relocate to Beaver County?
Yeah, because that is important. Attracting and retaining young families is extremely important. And the best way that I know to do that is to create jobs that those folks will fill. And that's why I'm excited about the Mitsubishi plant coming in and creating 100 jobs there, a couple of hundred. And also the diversification of what our economy looks like, right? It's not all steel, it's not all plastics. Getting into tech, I think, is important for us to attract and retain some of those new graduates, some of those folks that want to get into that. And then the trades are still a viable, strong vocation for people.
I think a lot of people would rather, at this point, go to the trades and get a job that way because it's not, you're not spending what you're spending for a college education.
Why come out of college with a degree that you may or may not be able to find a job in that degree with $40,000, $60,000, $80,000 of debt when you can be making $40,000, $60,000, $80,000 a year almost at the start working for one of our trades. Okay,
so real quick before Noah gets the news, you want to throw your headset on? We do have somebody that has a comment. Good morning, you're on Beaver County Radio. Oh, they hung up on us. So just as we did that, they hung up.
Okay.
So.
No problem.
Here, stay there. Good morning. You're on Beaver County Radio.
Good morning, Frank and Mr. Jack. How are you both?
Good, Deborah. How are you?
Good. Hey, I wanted to know something. Are you guys, the commissioners, are you guys going to invest something or work with the authorities in Aliquippa to try to get something going there for the people in Aliquippa? I'm going to go ahead and get off here and let you comment. Have a good day.
Thanks, Deborah.
Yeah, this is really probably better appropriate for when all three of us are there on Thursday. But I will tell you that with the ARPA funds, we contributed about $10 million, I think, totally to disproportionate affected communities, and Aliquippa was one of those, and we gave about $10 million for them to do and figure out how to improve their infrastructure, how to improve their parks and recreation. I continue to work with them on a daily basis, so that's Tony and Dan, and we're willing to help wherever we can. But in terms of money, there's not a whole lot of money sitting around for that. We've certainly helped them apply for grants for different things, but they have community issues that only they can solve. Somebody can't come in from the outside to solve for them. But we certainly have poured a lot of money, community development block grant money and some other things for streetscapes and stuff in Franklin Avenue. And I'm still a big, strong proponent for the revitalization that's happening along Broadhead and Franklin Avenue, the traditional downtown there. But yeah, we do what we can, but we can't solve some of the issues that are happening in that community.
All right, we're visiting this morning with Beaver County Commissioner Jack Manning, and he'll be available to answer any other questions. Trying to stay on the topic of Beaver County and the growth of Beaver County. So if you have any questions about that after news, you're welcome to call at 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. Meantime, it's time for Noah.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning. On this Monday, September 29th of 2025, we will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. Pennsylvania State Police in Beaver report that 2 people have died because of a shooting that took place in Aliquippa on Saturday. The incident occurred at 952 Franklin Avenue in Aliquippa, and 43-year-old Cynthia Zipfel of Aliquippa was found dead inside her vehicle because of a gunshot wound. 26-year-old Jalen Love of Aliquippa died at the scene because of a gunshot wound. Pennsylvania police are now leading the investigation into this incident, and according to Pennsylvania State Police in Beaver, there is no threat to the community, and a ruling into this matter will be released at a later date. According to a release from Congressman Chris Deluzio's office, Deluzio announced on Friday in Beaver County that the National Institutes of Health have awarded $440,513 in federal funding to the University of Pittsburgh as part of a $10 million East Palestine, Ohio train derailment health research program to assess the long-term health effects of the 2023 disaster. The University of Pittsburgh is one of 3 universities leading this program that will oversee a study to assess outcomes of health related to the liver and both the liver and the thyroid axis. The $85 million fume exhaust system upgrade to the Tenaris facility in Coppell will help to reduce the pollution in that area. On Tuesday, Tenaris announced the project with a ribbon-cutting event at its Coppell plant with several dignitaries, including Guillermo Moreno, the president of Tenaris United States. Tenaris stated that this new exhaust system will more effectively separate, capture, and collect particulates and dust generated during the process for steel production, while also assisting to reduce emissions of carbon monoxide. Marc-Andre Fleury stopped all 8 shots he faced during the third period of his final game with the Pittsburgh Penguins, a 4-1 preseason win against the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday night. Fleury officially retired from the NHL as a member of the Minnesota Wild at the end of last season, but the beloved 40-year-old goaltender signed a ceremonial professional tryout contract earlier this month to see old teammates and friends come full circle and complete a 21-season NHL career that began in Pittsburgh. The former Vezina Trophy winner is second in NHL history, only to Martin Brodeur with 575 wins and 1,051 regular season games played. A house fire in Lebanon County, Pennsylvania, has killed 4 people yesterday morning, and 3 of them are the ages of 17 years old or younger. The incident occurred at a home on 815 Church Street. According to authorities, 2 people were seriously injured, with one victim last listed in stable condition, while the other was last listed in critical condition. 4 more people got injured as well, with injuries that were minor, bringing the total of people injured from this house fire to 6. The mayor of Lebanon County sent a Facebook post out yesterday claiming that the fire was an accident in nature and began from an electrical outlet in the living room of the first floor. A total of 10 people were in the house when the fire started, with some visiting for a celebration of a birthday yesterday. The victims that passed away from this house fire were 73 years old, 17 years old, 4 years old, and 1 year old. This fire has been stabilized and is being investigated by the Fire Marshal's Office of the Pennsylvania State Police. And over the weekend, attorney Robert G. Del Greco Jr. released a statement from his client, David Censeri. Censeri is the retired co-owner of the Pennsylvania Macaroni Company, who was facing a misdemeanor charge of terroristic threats after an alleged incident that happened in a building in Pittsburgh on September 15th, 2025, and the following statement is: on September 15th, 2025, I went to Pennsylvania Macaroni and had an argument with my brother. The reason for the argument is private amongst family. The firearm alleged to have been picked up on the sidewalk was my cell phone that I dropped. I never possessed a firearm. Thank you, from David Censeri.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
The stretch of summer-like weather continues for the next few days. Today we'll see increasing clouds with highs near 82 and overnight lows around 58. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Will reach highs of 81 and lows around 50. And another sunny day expected on Wednesday. We'll see highs of 73 and lows of 46. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Monday, September 29th of 2025 at 38 minutes after 10, we've got a temperature of 68 degrees currently in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230, WBVP 95.7 FM, and 1460 AM, WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Do you like your pizza well done?
My pizza
Yeah,
well
you like
done?
your pizza well done?
I do like when it's crunchy sometimes. The crust needs to be like pretty what do you call that? Like
Crispy.
fluffy crust. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm fine with that.
All right,
What's
well,
up?
if you head out to Black Hawk Road, it might still be out there. This morning there was a Papa John's truck caught on fire on Blackhawk Road this morning. It was a semi-truck.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it's very, very well done pizza. I guess they were delivering supplies. It was in the 800 block of Blackhawk Road in South Beaver Township. So, yeah, that's... I was looking, I seen pizza try, and then I seen Papa John's on the front. I was like, uh-oh, somebody's not getting their pizza today. So, all right, Noah will be back at 11 o'clock this morning, and we are visiting this morning with Beaver County Commissioner Jack Manning, and we're talking about Beaver County and Beaver County's bright future. So we left off talking about some of the river towns and development along the river towns. Have we ever got a finalized whether that, I can't remember the name of the steel mill was going to come in where J&L used to be in Aliquippa
The
along the
72
river?
steel?
Yeah.
No. I haven't heard much about it. I know they did some clearing of the property, some environmental testing for the property to get clearance, I believe, from the Conservation District. But I believe the big hang up there is financing.
Gotcha.
For that. I would also suggest, I have no inside knowledge, but given the difficulty of Nippon Steel acquiring U.S. Steel, my guess is that that's undergoing some significant scrutiny by the government as well. I don't know any better. I'd love to see a rebar plant be built there. I think state-of-the-art art technology, all the rebar that goes into construction and roads and bridges and everything else, I think it'd be a great asset. It would create several hundred jobs. I think it'd be good for West Aliquippa and Aliquippa in general. But I really, the fact that I haven't heard anything for well over a year tells me it's stalled somewhere.
When there was rumors of Eaton Westinghouse building a facility down along there as well. So do you think that, you know, because as you were talking, like, it kind of moves down, you know, town by town by town, the revitalization. Do you think developing that river, you know, along the river there, along the Ohio River, is going to be key to a revitalization of downtown Aliquippa?
Well, it's going to be a key to job creation in Beaver County, because that's the only place where industrial jobs are likely to be permitted and rebuilt. And there are multiple projects underway, some of which I keep anticipating announcements any day on in West Aliquippa. One that Mr. Beathers has been involved with, Pheasant Energy, is a potential for another data center there. And the key with data centers is having the energy to run those data centers being part of the package to build those. And he has a plan to create the energy. Pheasant Energy has a plan to create the energy that would go to producing what is needed for a data center. Outside of the data center that's probably going to come in to the old Bruce Mansfield site and that one, I don't see a whole lot of data centers happening in Beaver County. And I'm kind of, I like the idea of us having, you know, one or two, but they aren't great job creators for the space and energy that they take up. So I'm a little cautious on those. Certainly wouldn't want to see data centers populate the river when I think there's other manufacturing, trucking business, small manufacturer, advanced manufacturers, like the switchgear plant that's coming into Big Beaver Borough there, that Mitsubishi's building. I'd rather see more of those kinds of things come that are good jobs. That plant is going to be tremendous because those advanced switchgears are involved with anything that has to do with electricity and engines, whether it's windmills or automotive engines or other generators and stuff. And in places like Stozel Glass, who came in to Monaca, another one that really was indirectly as a result of Shell. They were looking to expand into the U.S. They were looking at a facility in Georgia, happened to see that the largest project in North American history is in Pennsylvania history is happening here. Saw that the Anchor Hocking plant was for sale, came in, bought the plant, have invested in new technology, have increased the workforce, and from everything up here, they've been a great employer, a great family-run business to work for. So it's all those kinds of things collectively. I think they're going to make a difference up and down the river.
I've made a friend out of somebody from Stotzel because they're from the land down under. And this one girl, her name is Anna.
Yeah.
And she's their marketing representative. So she sends me emails, and it's like over there, where she's at, it's 12 hours or even more difference. So her and I have communicate back and forth, even when it's not just because we made a friendship just by, a different country. So that's kind of cool.
It is.
And we interviewed the owner when they first came in. And so you see Stotzel's come, they've invested. Now Tenaris invested all this money in the Koppel plant. The Mitsubishi you're talking about. Why do you think these companies are starting to come to Beaver County and starting to invest so much and so heavily in Beaver County?
Well, I do think our legacy of being a place that likes to make things for a living. We don't pontificate. We actually do things. We build things. We make things. We use our heads, our hearts, and our hands to build America. And, that's what we're known for. And that legacy is still alive here. And they see the availability and a lot of its geography. I've mentioned that thing there. Mm-hmm. We're in a great geographic location. I mean, we are so blessed to have two rivers that run right through the middle of the county. A lot of counties don't have that. And the Ohio being one of the oldest, longest industrial highways, which is now being used also for recreation, which I'm glad to see.
It doesn't hurt that it dumps into the Mississippi on top of it all.
Yeah.
Because that creates that open waterway.
Yeah. So I think it's geography, the turnpike running through the top of the county, 376 looping around the city of Pittsburgh, and our proximity to the airport is there. And then you have the two big rail lines that go through there. So I think anybody that's involved in shipping things by rail or river or by air even or trucking, they're looking at Beaver County as an ideal spot. And geographically, we're right smack in the middle of the largest population center for selling stuff and delivering things to, in a one-day trucking drive. So geography has a lot to it. Our history has a lot to do with it. And I just think we're seen as a very business-friendly county and community to work in. On top of that, to our good governance mandate that Tony, Dan, and I have taken on. We're keeping our taxes low. We have affordable housing. And we've got a lot of things going for us. The parks, recreation, the natural beauty that we have. We have a great quality of life here. I think we're our own worst enemies sometimes and critics on that. But the ability to have the downtown shopping that we do, to have the parks, to have the recreation. You see what's happening with tourism, and our tourism dollars are still at a very high rate after Shell completed. Everybody thought, what's going to happen to all those hotels and stuff? They're still there plugging along. They're still filling rooms, and we're still collecting hotel tax, which allows us, again, to reinvest back into tourism and events, from the Maple Syrup Festival to some of these triathlons that just finished up, to a whole bunch of other activities that are bringing people in. I just want to make it attractive enough that people want to stay here and move here.
All right. You want to throw your headphones on?
Sure.
All right. Good morning. You're on Beaver County Radio.
Hi, Commissioner Manning. Hey, I want to thank you for what you and the other two commissioners do for us here in Beaver County. I have a question, though. Sure. When I'm out and about in the county and dealing with people in stores, in terms of the people that wait on you, or just the general public in general, I'm noticing with our younger people between, say, 17 and 30, 35, that it almost seems like we have and I'm not trying to be critical of the people, but it almost seems like we have an underclass of people who are not well educated, who are not well spoken, and don't seem to have, I would call it, any zip or any zest to dealing with people within their employment. Do you feel that our local school districts are doing an adequate job in preparing young people for the workplace and for a contribution to the society that is Beaver County?
That's a great question and good observation. I would tell you that I think schools are the most important. One of the most important things we need to continue to foster, to improve upon, to collaborate with, to make sure that we're giving every child and every family that has a child in school the best opportunity for the career path that's right for them. And I think some schools are doing that exceptionally well. And some, because of the smaller nature of them, maybe aren't doing as much as maybe they could or should. But it's an important aspect. But I think more importantly is whether the schools are doing it. And what I've seen, and I'm a former corporate trainer. I used to run a customer service group in my prior careers. We do not have a generation that knows how to interact with people because their only interaction is through that little device that they're holding in their hand. And I do think that's impacting. I think that's impacting society. And I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but it's impacting society in many ways that the ramifications are just starting to come to light. And one of those is they really don't understand personal interaction and what customer service means when you have a job in retail working with the public. And I know companies are trying. I know my former employers did that. And even when I came to the county, I've counseled a couple of departments when we've got calls that somebody called this office or somebody called that office and we're treated rudely, that we are in the customer service business. We exist to serve the public. Government exists to serve the public. A business exists to serve their customers. And there's no difference on how we should be treating people when they call up or they have interactions over the county. And it's a challenge. I admit it's a challenge.
One other quick question. When is the next time that you and the other two commissioners stand for re-election?
Well, I've made it known that I am not running for re-election. I am pleased to be able to serve 8 years. I have 2 years and 2 months to go on that. I don't want to speak for the others, but I'm kind of a term limit, age limit guy. I pour everything I have every day into this job, and 8 years will be the longest stint I've ever done any one assignment in my entire 50 plus years career there. But the elections will be coming up in a couple of years.
So November of 27?
Yes, to start serving in 28.
You're going to be a big loss. Thanks for what you do. Have a good day.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, if you have any other questions for Commissioner Manning, you're welcome to call at 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center in Midland opens its 2025-2026 season with the award-winning comedy classic Guys and Dolls, October 3rd through the 12th, sponsored by Clearview Federal Credit Union. For tickets, visit LincolnParkArts.org.
Hot coffee in the morning and Frank Sparks. Now you're in the fast lane. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP.
Looking for something that's more than just a job? Then this good news is for you. PA Connecting Communities helps people with intellectual disabilities and autism by using fun activities like cooking, pottery, and volunteerism to learn valuable skills. PACC is hiring for full-time and part-time in Beaver, Butler, and surrounding areas. When was the last time you got paid to go bowling, the movies, swimming, or doing a community service project? If you're looking for a great job where you can help others improve their life skills, gain independence, and participate in community activities, all while having fun and get paid nicely too, then visit PACC.org.
Tune in to the all-new Falcones Moon Township Ford Coaches Corner every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. The show is hosted by Mike Azadian and will feature a local coach each week. The show will be video live streamed on the Beaver County Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. The Falcones Moon Township Ford Coaches Corner is being brought to you in part by the St. Barnabas Health System, the Fry Transportation Group, the Community College of Beaver County, Tri-State Sporting Arms, Vape and Roll With It, Carver Construction, and Beaver County Radio.
Tune in to Beaver County Radio after the Friday night football game for the Falcones Moon Township Ford Wrap-Up Show. Beaver County Radio's Mike Azadian and Ryan Garazunas will have the scores, standings, and any news from the games. They will also take your phone call so you can talk about your favorite team. The Falcones Moon Township Ford Wrap-Up Show is being brought to you by Electric Garage Door Sales, Forward RX, Patriot Home Care, the YMCA, Freedom United Federal Credit Union, All Access Automotive, Drug Free Aliquippa, the St. Barnabas Health System, the Fry Transportation Group, the Community College of Beaver County, Tri-State Sporting Arms, Vape and Roll With It, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Carver Construction, Falcones Moon Township Ford, and Beaver County Radio 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. What's everyone in Beaver County talking about? It's Beaver County Radio, brought to you exclusively by Fry Transportation. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, a winning team in Beaver County.
Make Jackson's Restaurant and Bar in Center Township your fun spot and dining destination this fall. Open daily, Jackson's entrees include grilled salmon, sirloin, honey glazed chicken, and pork wrapped tenderloin. The brunch buffet each Sunday from 10 to 2 has hot breakfast items, omelets, pastries, and chef-inspired entrees. Sundays also offer a build-your-own Bloody Mary bar and $5 mimosas. Thursday nights bring live music to Jackson's, located adjacent to Hilton Garden Inn near the Beaver Valley Mall. For a full menu and schedule, visit jacksonsbeavervalley.com.
Looking for something that's more than just a job? Then this good news is for you. PA Connecting Communities helps people with intellectual disabilities and autism by using fun activities like cooking, pottery, and volunteerism to learn valuable skills. PACC is hiring for full-time and part-time in Beaver, Butler, and surrounding areas. When was the last time you got paid to go bowling, the movies, swimming, or doing a community service project? If you're looking for a great job where you can help others improve their life skills, gain independence, and participate in community activities, all while having fun and get paid nicely too, then visit PACC.org.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
All right, we're back here about, about 6 or 4 minutes till top of the hour. Coming up right after the top of the hour, Josh Schuneman will be joining me, and we'll be talking about the PRC's event at Brady's Run this weekend. So if you have household chemicals, we'll get you answers on all that if you want to get rid of them, dispose of them properly this weekend. So, Jack, we've been talking about this, and we could continue this conversation all day long, I'm sure. Looking forward and looking at Beaver County, what do you see for the future of Beaver County?
Well, I see the continued progress that we've been making. I see smart growth. I see us continuing to revitalize the 9 core riverfront towns and build those back up, especially in terms of housing and rentable units and those kinds of things. I see smart growth in the townships with new developments that are continuing to pop up in Chippewa and Brighton and Center and Hopewell and Economy and New Sewickley and the like. But I see us doing that in a way to continue to preserve the rural areas that we have, the green space that we have, the farms and the pastures that we have. And then I continue to see the redevelopment along the Ohio River. I see a lot of interest in those advanced manufacturing jobs coming back into that. We're never going to be Cranberry, but you see what's happening in Chippewa right now along Route 51. It's a different vibe and a different development that's happening there. We're seeing a little bit. We've seen that in Broadhead Road through Center and down through Aliquippa and into Hopewell. I see that continuing to build up. But I think we're going to be smart about how the growth is. I think we're just going to be proud to be Beaver County and who we are, and have a great balanced quality of life here that's unique and a little bit different than the surrounding counties have to offer.
Well, I think too, and we didn't even really talk about it a lot. You mentioned about the things coming in Chippewa along the corridor there with the sheets and what else? A Starbucks, and then there's a couple other businesses. Dairy Queen, yeah. Those smaller businesses, those create jobs too, and as we create that keeps money in Beaver County too. So I mean, as we go along, it creates more of an option, and I think a lot of times when people want to go out to eat, they're kind of they're staying around home now. Number one, everything's more expensive. Number two, it costs a lot in gas to go out to eat somewhere. So it seems like people want to stay around the county, and a lot of restaurants you would go to in the past, it seems like more and more people are coming back to them.
Yeah. I forget all the statistics, but 40% of our population kind of works outside the county, someplace else. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, having the proximity to the airport's going to create a whole bunch of new jobs. People are going to live here but work there. We have the advantage of we are close to Cranberry. You can go visit Cranberry if you want to deal with that traffic, and then there's something there. But we're starting to rebuild, again, like an Ambridge and like Beaver in different places where you can go and have a great meal without having to get in your car and go to Cranberry or go down to Robinson or go down to the city itself. But our proximity allows people to do that and take advantage of those kinds of things. Right. I also think we're going to invest a lot more, continue to invest a lot more in parks and recreation, and also in our museums and our arts and those kinds of things to help bring some more balance to the community. What Beaver Falls is trying to do with the Neighborhood North Museum of Play, that's going to be an awesome asset when that comes. And that's going to be a unique feature that we have here in the area for our kids and help with our kids' development and help with the quality of life for young parents and stuff. So I see a lot of great projects on the horizon. I hope we can just continue to move those forward and make them come to fruition.
Well, I appreciate you coming in this morning to talk about this. Like I said, we could talk about it all day long. The growth of Beaver County.
I'm just, I'm a homer. I'm proud of Beaver County. I love it. I remember the Lincoln quote that Lincoln likes to see a man who's proud of where he comes from and live his life so that his place is proud of him. And that's what I've been trying to do. I'm proud of Beaver County, and I want Beaver County to be proud of themselves and what we're doing here, because we have a lot to be proud about, and I still maintain we've got a great future ahead.
I just tell everybody that, I've lived here my whole life. Mm-hmm. Lived on the same hill I grew up on, and I tell people I grew up here, I'm going to live my whole life here, and they're going to plant me there. And, I have friends that moved away, and they said, why do you still? Because I love it here, and I have no desire to move at this point. So
same here. I'm not going anywhere.
All right. Jack will be back on Thursday with Commissioner Amadeo and with Commissioner Camp, and it'll be Ask the Commissioners. We'll see you then.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks.